We're coming to you live from Walmart Connect Studio at CES 2026. I'm Marisa Stubin, the agency partnerships lead at Walmart Connect, and I'm excited to be joined by Joe Groter, Vice President of Retail Media and Commerce Partnerships at Publicis Media. Thanks. Great to have you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We partnered together with Publicis on some custom research to better understand the Walmart customer journey. One thing we've seen clearly is that when brands show up across more touch points, reaching customers will drive deeper engagement. But the real power is actually understanding who that customer is, how they shop, what resonates with them. And that's where Walmart Connect signals come in, helping brands show up with the right message to the right person, the right creative at the right time. And that's exactly why I'm excited to dig into this with Publicis today, to see what's changing, what it means for brands to show up, to grow with Walmart. So let's jump into some questions to unpack what those insights actually look like in practice. We talk a lot about omni-channel, especially because we know the customer journey is no longer linear. I'm sure you would agree. People move back and forth between digital and physical, depending on what they need at the moment. So from your perspective, why is it so critical for brands to show up where customers are?
Yeah, great question. So the consumer journey is definitely not linear anymore, right? So there's so many mediums for customers to view media through social, TV, streaming. It's an influx of touch points to consumers. And so being able to reach them at the right time with the right message and the right creative, like you said, is super important. And I know in our research, we saw that from an in-store perspective and a conversion perspective, CTV and social specifically had very high ad recall. So that shows, in that research that customers are recalling these ads. And when you're doing brand building using Walmart signals, it's very effective for driving conversions and driving purchases at the point of sale.
Yeah, absolutely. So one stat that really stood out to us is that about half of in-store shoppers are actually doing research online before they step into store. And even more so, they end up doing research and then buying online. So knowing that, how do you think about building strategies that meet the customers throughout that journey?
Yeah, so with the Walmart insights, right, you can understand who that consumer is and when to reach them at the right time. What are they doing outside of just, looking for their weekly grocery shop? Who are they as a person based on their full consumer behavior, and getting them at those different touch points. And so as they're doing things like a low research item, or they're going in and buying a food and beverage, that's not going to take as much of a research, ahead of time. Mm-hmm. They're going to be going in the store, but they may be seeing other products or doing research ahead of time for higher. And when consumers are doing higher research or higher intent products that need more research, like TVs or other consumer electronics, mm-hmm. Meeting them where they are throughout that journey, because that's not something that most consumers are going to go in and just buy on a whim. They're doing research ahead of time. They're looking at pricing. They're looking at quality. And we're able to reach them at various touch points across social, CTV, and in-store as well.
No, it's true. And there's such a difference, like you said, depending on what the category is that they're shopping for. Well, you touched on different generations. And one of the more surprising things I think we saw in this research is that the younger shoppers are actually heading back into store, and the older generation, the millennials plus, are actually shopping more online, which flips this long-held assumption about digital natives. So A, I'm curious if that surprised you, and B, how do you think brands need to be adjusting based on that shift?
Yeah, that was probably the most surprising thing that I saw out of this research and took from it. I think that's a very interesting insight, and is very valuable for all of our brands, all of our advertisers, to be able to readjust media strategies. Because I never would have thought that a Gen Z shopper would be leaning more towards in-store. I know millennial plus, there's a lot of consumer behavior shift with, online shopping, pickup and delivery, convenience. And so if we're seeing the younger generations, go back to in-store, how is that going to impact what Walmart is offering from an in-store perspective? How do we maybe want to shift or focus our investment towards reaching consumers who are actually in the store, mm-hmm. through, the TV walls, the self-checkout, in-store audio? That kind of flips the script on what your investment mix may need to be. So I thought that was fascinating. I think actually when we reviewed the research the first time, I was like, wait, is that actually real? So it was very interesting.
Well, it's good to hear that you know our in-store ad solutions too.
Yes.
Okay, well, before we wrap, I have one final question. It wouldn't be a CES if we didn't talk about AI. Yes. But I feel there's a big difference in how AI permeates our lives today than it did a year ago. And we are definitely seeing it impact the way our customer shops at Walmart. So when you look ahead, how do you think AI is going to change that customer behavior? And what should brands really be paying attention to?
Yeah, so I even see it in myself and my family and friends. There's been a huge shift in the way that I do online product research, or really kind of use search as a tool in general, right? So I do a lot of product research on anything that I buy. And so for me, AI has been a huge help in sort of, being able to sift through a lot of results and get a very clear answer of what I'm looking for. And so I think we'll see more of that. And so being able to optimize our content and have our brands being able to show up when people are doing that research and having that clear, crisp value and delivering on the need of what a consumer is looking for, I think we're going to definitely see a lot more AI optimization, AI SEO, if you will, that we need to continue to adjust for, because I think that we'll see research behavior shift. I think we'll see purchase behavior shift. And I think that is going to be coming a lot quicker than we probably anticipate.
Yeah, and will lead to loyalty amongst the consumers.
Yes. All right, now I'm going to put you in the hot seat.
Okay.
What is one key takeaway that you've had from today's conversation?
It was all very insightful, but I do think, and it's simple, but it's that reminder that the customer does not stand still, and brands shouldn't either. They need to be present throughout that journey. The more you understand how people actually shop, the more meaningful you can show up in an authentic way. So I also see a tremendous amount of value in Walmart Connect partnering with companies like Publicis to be aligned on the same customer signals, right? I think it makes it easier to see what's influencing customers, how it can impact the shopping experience to deliver better outcomes for clients. The more you know what's working and what's not working is critical to succeeding and delivering those business outcomes.
Great.
Well, I want to say, Joe, thank you for joining us today. It's always a pleasure. You're an incredible partner. And this was a lot of fun. And I'm so glad we got to do this research together.
Likewise. Thank you.